Hi, my name is Dr. Jason Spears. I want to welcome you to DoctorPremed.com, which is my website to help you as a pre-med student successfully get into medical school. I want to help you avoid all the common pitfalls and mistakes that can totally derail your chances of getting into medical school and actually becoming a doctor. Why do I want to do this? Because the experiences I had as a pre-med student, I don't think any student should have to overcome and endure what I had to do. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen to you. So here's a little bit of background information. I always knew from a young age that I wanted to become a physician. I wanted to be a doctor. That was kind of pretty much given. That was a foregone conclusion. However, my journey to medicine was not easy by any stretch of the imagination. I remember being at Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, one of the high caliber institutions, and just getting ruined, destroyed, however you want to call it, in some of my pre-med classes when that freshman fall quarter, just trying to figure out what I needed to do. But I knew one thing: no matter what, do not give up, do not take time away, because I knew too many students were pre-med who said, you know what, Northwestern's very rigorous, it's really tough, I'm going to take a quarter off. And most likely what happened is those students never came back to being pre-med and ultimately never went on to become a medical student and then a physician. And so I just knew that could not happen. So I had to figure out a way how to handle the academics of Northwestern, and struggled a lot, but was able to figure it out and then do well. And then also being a pre-med, I was actually a political science major. So one of the things I did with a lot of the other pre-meds at the time is we actually went to Harvard summer school to take most of our pre-med classes. So that's what I did for several of them. And I remember when I was at Harvard for organic chemistry, I was struggling, wasn't doing too hot in the class. I'm like, okay, let me go to the teaching fellow. Harvard's different. They don't use TAs, teaching assistants. They refer to them as teaching fellows. So I went to the teaching fellow. I'm like, hey, I'm struggling in this class. I want to figure out what I can do to get better, yada, 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 all of that stuff. Teaching fellow took one look at my grades, my transcripts, and said, Mr. Spears, with grades like these, you'll never get into medical school. That was crushing. That was demoralizing. However, I had a mentality that I was going to be a doctor no matter what. No stranger, no random teaching assistant, no TF, teaching fellow was going to tell me what my life was going to become. And so I said, you know what? Thank you for the advice. Left the meeting and then said, you know what, I just need to figure out a different strategy and figure out ways to overcome what I'm deficient in and do better in organic chemistry. Ultimately, as the summer progressed, I found a way to do better and excel in the class, did what I needed to do, and then did all the stuff that a pre-med student needs to do to apply to medical school and everything like that. And background information that I should share with you, that I was actually the president of the Pre-Med Society for my last 2 years of undergrad. So with that, I had connections at the best resources. I had people who were on admissions committees or AdComs who actually were helping me, advising me through the medical school application process. But as I was applying to all these medical schools, I remember Yale, University of Pittsburgh, University of Pennsylvania, Temple. I'm from Pennsylvania, so a lot of Pennsylvania schools and whatnot. Penn State, Hershey. And I just was getting very confused because as I went through this process, I was being denied. It was rejection, rejection, rejection. I'm just holding out hope. I'm like, okay, all it takes is just one medical school to say yes. I just need that one yes, and then I'm going to be in the door, and life is going to be great. I'm going to get in. However, that did not happen. I remember when the last medical school I was waiting on, it was Loyola University, Stritch School of Medicine. They said no. That was one of the worst days of my life because there it was, all this hard work as a pre-med student, doing very well on the Mcat to the point that even Harvard invited me to apply to the medical school, and then not getting in. That was horrible. I'm just like, this cannot be happening, and all of this, and it was just a horrible place and position to be in. I didn't know what to do. And then I decided, okay, if you don't get into med school, you need to apply to like post-bac grad programs and all of that stuff. In the process of doing that, one school or one committee said, you know what, Mr. Spears, there seems to be something amiss or awry in your AMCAS application, because I submitted some of my AMCAS stuff to some of these post-bac grad programs, and what they said was, it's just not adding up. So then I contacted AMCAS. AMCAS took a look at my initial inquiry, then they said, you know what, we need to forward this over to a supervisor. And then a couple weeks later, I got the message that, Mr. Spears, we're sorry to inform you that AMCAS made an error in your application, and we gave you 0 credit for your courses at Harvard. Now, you got to remember, I took over half of my pre-med course at Harvard. So what it looked like to all the medical schools was I didn't have those credits, so it looked like I was applying without any of the bare minimums that you needed to get in medical school, or just half of them. And so obviously with that, I was rejected everywhere. No medical school was going to accept me or look into the matter further, because it's all based on a computer. They're not going to like have individuals who are going to investigate things. And so that was so crushing, and it was horrible. And I told other people about this. They're like, you should get upset. You should sue this. You should sue AMCAS, all of this, yada, yada, yada. But my thinking at the time was, you know what? What's happened has happened, and even if I would go down that road, it's not going to change the fact that I'm not in medical school. And so obviously I took steps, I took strides, I did what I needed to do, and then I was able to get into medical school. And I want the same for you. If you're here, I know you want to get into medical school, you want to become a doctor. And I know one of the biggest hurdles to actually getting into medical school is the Mcat, the Medical College Admission Test. That's huge. That's actually the #1 factor that goes into medical school admission decision is your Mcat. So you need to take this exam extremely seriously. And I remember when I was studying for the Mcat, I was just getting blown away. I'm like, I'm in the library every single day. There was a professor at Northwestern who saw me in the library stacked. He's like, you're a true scholar. I've never seen somebody in the library day in and day out just dedicated to what you're doing. And so that was great to hear that. But I'm like, yeah, but my scores aren't reflective of that. Something needs to change. Something needs to be a little bit different. And especially, I was a political science major in undergrad, and so for me, I thought, oh, cars is going to be the area where I excel. That's going to be easy points, a no-brainer. I just got to work hard in my physics and the basic sciences like general chemistry, organic chemistry, and maybe even a little bit of biology. And lo and behold, cars was hard for me. I'm like, this, you gotta be kidding me. I'm studying this. I'm a poli-sci major. I write papers. What is it, term papers and all of that. And I'm struggling in cars. This makes absolutely no sense. And I just went through a period of weeks where cars was not improving. I'm like, this needs to get better. This needs to get better because I need to get into medical school. And it wasn't happening. And I'm identical twin. And my twin brother, he's a lawyer. And so I told him I'm struggling in the cars section. And he kind of just laughed at me. He's like, you're struggling cars? He goes, at the time he was in law school, he's like, dude, we do this all day, every day in law school. This is a joke. Let me see what you're doing. I gave him some passions, thinking like he's going to struggle. Maybe he's going to need to think about things. But he just whipped through those reading passages and like, oh, this is what the author's trying to say. This is what you need to do. This is the correct answer. And I was just blown away by that. And so he like basically gave me the way to actually approach cars sections on the Mcat, and totally changed my life, totally changed the trajectory of what I was doing on the Mcat. And I was able to excel on the Mcat, get a top score, get really recognized because of that, and everything like that. But obviously, when you don't have the basic pre-med stuff based on an air by MCAT, you're not going to get into medical school regardless of how good your MCAT score is. So I didn't get into medical school and all of that, and I don't want anybody else to go through that. And that's one of the reasons why Dr. Premed is here. You think a former Pre-Med Society president spent 2 years doing that, and also making contact with the top AdComs from the top medical schools throughout the country. We get in, we'd be shooing, wouldn't be too much of a problem when you have good academics and everything like that, and figured out how to do well the MCAT. That didn't happen for me, and that should not happen for you. So I want to just distill everything, just basically do a brain dump where I share all my knowledge, all my expertise, so that you can get into medical school. Because I remember when I was a fourth year medical student, doing one of my rotations at Mount Sinai. What was it? I think it was a scribe. There was a scribe there, and they said, "Oh, you're a fourth year medical student." Yeah. That's what I am, and everything like that. And they're like, "I hope to be in your shoes one day." And I know that's what you want too. You want to be in my shoes one day. You want to be in medical school, and then you ultimately want to graduate from medical school and become a doctor, and I want that for you as well. And so what I do at Dr. Premed is I share all tips, I share advice, I give you insight, and I give you information that you're not going to find anywhere else. This isn't, oh, this worked for me, so I believe it's going to work for you. None of that. Yes, some stuff worked for me, but it's tried and proven processes and things that you can be doing as a pre-med to excel yourself, to accelerate to the top, and put yourself on the winning side of a medical school admissions committee. Because you got to realize getting in medical school is extremely competitive. It's more competitive than what you believe. Too often, I'm a physician, I've been coaching students, and too often I get students who tell me, oh, they work so hard as a pre-med, they deserve to get in XYZ medical school. Oh, they're not settling for anything less than a top 10, top 20 medical school. And so I see this all the time. And so that's your competition. You have students out there who say, like, oh, I worked hard, this is my GPA, this is my MCAT score, I want to get into a top 20 medical school. They basically feel that they deserve to get in. And that's not always the case, no matter how hard you work, because a lot of students focus on just the numbers. They're like, okay, if I get the MCAT score, if I get the GPA, I should get in. But guess what? There's hundreds, there's thousands of other pre-med students with the same stats, same MCAT score, same GPA. You know what? They probably might be even scoring higher than you. And so you need to do something a little bit different to separate yourself and not just be a diamond in the rough pre-med student that has, oh, decent stats, decent extracurriculars, but you don't shine. You don't outshine the competition, and then that's your problem. You're just like everybody else going through this process, and it's going to be very difficult for you to get into medical school. I don't want that to happen to you. I have a process, I have a system that absolutely works. It's proven. It's going to get you where you need to be. I got into medical school. I didn't just get into one medical school. I got into multiple medical schools and all of that. I don't like to brag or anything like that. Well, actually, it was after when I reapplied and we had all the Harvard courses there and everything like that, so that everything was taken care of. And also, what I don't want you to feel or think is like, oh, Dr. Spears is different. He went to Ivy League caliber schools. He went to Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois for undergrad, and then he did a lot of his pre-med courses at Harvard. No, that's not the case. I went to those institutions, I did what I needed to do, but that's not why I got into medical school. There's other things that you can be doing and other ways that you can position yourself for success in this process to make yourself actually stand out and be successful and get where you want to be, because that's my goal, that's my objective for you, because I know that's what you want more than anything else. It's not just about like, oh, working so hard, struggling as a pre-med. You want to get into medical school. Not only you want to get into medical school, you want to become a doctor. You want to save lives. You want to be there for patients. You want to be empathetic to them. You want to just be the great physician that you have idealistic position in your mind is what a doctor should be, and I know you want that for you. And so I want to help you in this process. There's many steps. I believe there's 7 key steps, pillars, strategies, whatever, that if you master will help you get into medical school so that you can be that doctor that you want to be. I know a lot of students, there's a pressure to get into medical school, maybe from yourself, maybe you have a family member, parents that are saying like, oh, you really need to be a doctor, and all of that because of prestige, security, having a job for life, whatever type of stuff they tell you. But you really need to go into medicine because it's what you want to do, it's what you love, and it's what you want to do for the rest of your life. So I'm Dr. Spears with DoctorPremed.com. This is my website. A lot of information on here that you should definitely take a look at, see what I have to offer. But really what I want to do is dispel what's rumor from what's fact, from fiction, and all of that stuff, and give you a clear-cut, concise path that's going to lead you to medical school. I want you to apply. I want you to get in the first time you apply. I don't want you to be like me where you have to be a re-applicant to medical school. There's so much in this process of getting in, and grades, Mcat score is only half of it. There's a lot more to it. And so if your stats aren't the greatest, but you have other stuff that you can bring to the table, that's great. However, I think you need to have bare minimums on some of your stats, like a GPA and an Mcat score, so you at least get past the computer that's going to screen people for that, and so that a human actually reads and takes a look at your application. But if you stick with me, stay around, take a look at all the offerings I have for you, the blog posts, the products, the services. It's going to do well for you, and you're going to be really in a great position to actually get into medical school. I don't want you to be like, oh, I'm applying this year, and then I'm looking like, oh, you know what? You're missing a lot of things that you need to be doing. So the fact that you're here now is great. It's perfect. I can give you that roadmap that you need, that's going to help you excel, that will help you outshine the competition and get you where you need to be, because it's so much satisfaction, so much joy when you actually get into medical school. That's like one of the greatest experiences, like that first acceptance. It's like, okay, I'm set for life. One medical school has said yes to me. That's all you need. You just need that one yes, and then it's game changer. It changes you for the rest of your life. And then when you walk across that stage and you receive your medical degree, that's a totally different game changer for you too. I want that to happen to you. But as a pre-med, there's a lot of work you got to do. There's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of hurdles that you need to overcome. But guess what? With me and being at DoctorPremed.com, this is your pre-med dream team, and you're in the right place to really, really shortcut and have a clear-cut, concise path to getting where you need to be and ultimately getting into medical school, becoming that doctor. So thank you for visiting. I look forward to all your success and everything that you're going to do as a pre-med, getting into medical school, becoming a doctor, and do a lot of great things. So this is Dr. Spears with DoctorPremed.com. Thank you.